everyone, I'm the Peculiar Pisces and welcome to my channel. Today is Wednesday, April 22nd, 2026, and this is Flosstube video number 83. I am so excited to show you all of my progress this week because I have had a great stitchy week, it feels like. There are some days that I didn't touch some of my projects, but then there are other days that I got so much progress. So let me kick off right into it. I didn't purchase anything. I'm not waiting on supplies for anything. So again, no money spent. This is yay for me. Although I am going to have to run to the craft store and get a couple of random threads for my Teresa Wentzler. I'm running low on one of the blend colors because it's in several blends. And on my Project 3, the wish list, the Heaven and Earth Designs one, I'm running low on a couple of colors on that. And I don't know if I'm actually going to need the thread or if I'm going to end up, zeroing out before I finish off the thread. So I'm just sort of playing that by ear. So it's like I do know that I need to go purchase some threads, but it's not an immediate concern, but soon. I will start with project number 1. If you are new to my channel, or even if you're a returning subscriber, let me explain a little about what I do as far as how my projects are categorized. I like to enter them into the county fair and the state fair. The county fair is in June, and the state fair is usually the last week of August and into the first week of September. So they're spaced out enough that I can enter the same project into both fairs. This year for the county fair, they do not have a Blackwork category like they had last year. And the piece that I'm submitting is a Blackwork. And so right now, I'm unsure if that needs to go under the cross stitch category or if that needs to go under the needlework category. And I'm actually having a little bit of difficulty signing up online, so I'm going to have to physically call them to try to get this all figured out, and hopefully they can advise me which category, and if they end up doing it over the phone, then they'll put me in the right category. Let me pause this really quick because the dog wants to come inside. Okay, the dog is back in the house now. So, the way that I've designed my categories for my projects is I have favorite designer, which is something that I think is a fair piece. It's something that, if I like a designer enough, I think that those should be fair pieces. So my favorite designer category is pretty much all fair pieces. Right now, with the exception of my lavender and lace, which is the one that I worked on last month, that one is not designed to go into the fair, but all the others are. And the fabric counts vary on them, so that if I do get 2 done in a year to enter into the fair, they can go into separate categories. Now, as I said, the Blackwork that I'm going to be submitting this year is either in the cross stitch category, which will be in the 14 to 18 count category, or it would be under the needlepoint category, and I'm not really sure which one. But as a refresher, this is the one that's going to be my fair piece, which I haven't shown in a while, but I've washed it and I did iron it. I'm going to have to iron it again because the way that I had to move it and fold it, there's a crease in the middle. But I have washed it and ironed it, and I did sign it. Just a little signature because I didn't know where else to put it, and I couldn't figure out how to graph it small to have a, fancy signature, so I just did the little signature. But this is supposed to be my fair piece. As a refresher, this is Practical Blackwork is the designer, and the pattern is called Pentecost. So, like I said, this is supposed to be my fair piece for this year, and it's going to go into both fairs I'm just going to have to figure out the county fair part because it was being so weird with me trying to enter it the other day, or to do all the online stuff and to pay. So my county fair allows you to have up to 5 pieces per registry. So like if I had 10 pieces, I would have to enter twice is how it would work. But I don't have nearly that much stuff. So then, like I said, my favorite designer pieces are pieces that are supposed to go into the fair, and that would be like the normal count. And then the category, my project number 2s are either a sampler or a blackwork, because last year both fairs had a blackwork category and a sampler category. This year there is no blackwork category, and I also did not see a sampler category for the county fair, but I expect that to be the same for this, or I expect the state fair to still have those categories, because the state fair is so much bigger than the county fair, like so vastly different. So I do expect that how I have my projects planned out, that it'll still continue to be that way. My project 3 projects are wish list projects, and it's pretty subjective, but it's anything that I wish to do. It started out as websites that had a wish list or a favoriting feature, and I've just opened it up to everything, because I'll see something and be like, oh, that's so pretty, I really want to do it, and then I never do. So like the wish list category is trying to get some of those, oh, I wish I could work on those kind of projects. And some of them I've, purchased patterns for, and I don't work on them. So this is me trying to work on them. Now, when I finally get them done, because a lot of them are full coverage pieces, I probably will end up entering them into the fair when I get them done, but they're not specifically slated to be fair pieces. And then the 4th type of project that I work on is what I call my Stashbuster piece. And that's, kits and patterns that I've been carrying around for ages. So I'm just trying to get them done, essentially get them out of my house, even though the finished project will still be in my house, but you get what I mean. So that's how I do my 4 categories, and I balance 4 projects in a day. I just carve out a little bit of time to work on each project. And I've also been able to work on temperature stitching, or temperature projects in my case, because not all of them are cross stitching, but I will get to those later. So I will start with project number 1, and this month it is Teresa Wentzler. She's my favorite designer of all time, but she happens to be the project designer for April. So this is called the Woodland Faerie. I'm going to try to give you a nice big close-up, because I'm right in this middle section, and I've been working on the fairie's wings and stuff. So here is my progress. And so the last time you saw it, I still had a little bit of stitching to do up in here. And so I finished out the bulk of this stitching. There's a couple of random stitches that I haven't worked on, because right now they're ninja stitches, but I suspect they'll carry over into the next page. And so I don't want to do the stitches and cut the thread, but I also don't want to do the stitches or park it over here, because I'm not going this direction when I move my hoop. I'm going to be going this direction and finishing this page first before I come over here. And I don't want to just have those hanging threads until it's time. So, like I said, I finished the bulk of the stitching up here, and then I started working in this other wing that's much brighter than this wing. So I've been working on the wing, and then I jumped over and started working on the 1/1 stitching on her skin. I have gotten her face, and even though the back stitching isn't on there, she looks amazing so far. I love how she's looking. I just love it. Like, I kept saying that I was just going to do her skin last, and I really was going to do that, but I was like, this is silly. I changed the Mirabilia's skin to 1/1 to practice for this one, knowing that this one was charted 1/1. So I was like, stop being silly and just work on it. So, like I said, I've got her face in and her neck, but I haven't finished out on this page quite yet. So, this one, okay, so for the week of April 13th through April 19th, I got to put in 7 hours, 30 minutes, and 30 seconds. And it's brought my total time on this project to 61 hours, 52 minutes, and 51 seconds. So I am rocking and rolling on this one. I love the progress that I'm getting on this one. This one has gotten more progress than probably all of my other projects. Yeah, this one I definitely worked on the most. So yeah, I can't wait to see, because next week when I do my filming is going to be the last update for April. So I can't wait to see where this is going to end for the month. I'm just so excited. All right. And project number 2, I said, is either a Blackwork. Oh, before I move on, let me go back. Try to remember to do this every time. The fabric that this is stitched on is from Fabric Flair, and this is called Champagne Flowers. And so here's what the full piece is. There's lots of pinks and some rusty colors and stuff like that. While this is not a full coverage per se, it's mostly a full coverage. Like, all the stuff in here is fully stitched, either full cross stitches or half cross stitches. The only part that's not fully stitched in is this part in the border. So I don't know if that counts as it being full coverage, because the bulk of the piece is full coverage. It's just a little bit up in the border, and so I don't know. But this is 28 count even weave. And I said that this is called Flower Champagne. It is supposed to be the opalescent glitter, but I think all the glitter has fallen off since I purchased this. And that's okay. That's okay. All right, now on to project number 2. So project 2, I said, is either a Blackwork or a sampler piece. This month it is a Blackwork piece. I am working on Loose Thread Stitchery's Orchid Blackwork pattern. And I purchased this off of Etsy, so there should be a link in the description. I wanted to show you that I got another page finished. So I'm working on this page right here. So I'm up to page 14. Well, I mean, page 4 and 5 didn't really have any stitching in it. But I finished 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. And so now I'm on page 14. So I'm in this block here. So I'm really close to finishing this. And with the rules for my fair, since this is specifically a fair piece, you can't have it can't be more than 18 months old. And at this point, okay, yeah, so like this would have had to be finished by like December of 2025 for it to no longer be eligible for me to use. So right now I'm within my parameters for putting this into the fair for next year, for 2027. So here is my progress. Now I believe that the last time you saw it, I had just finished out this petal right down here. And so I had to finish whatever little bit of stitching was here and then work on the stitching over here. So yeah, it is like up to here. It's fully stitched and back stitched as well. I'm doing the back stitch as I go. So I'm really excited. I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm not going to finish it by April for sure. I won't work on it in May. So June, I might finish this in June, maybe. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Oh. And then this one, for the week of April 13th through April 19th, I got to work on this 5 hours, 26 minutes, and 34 seconds. And it's brought my total time for this project to 37 hours, 2 minutes, and 58 seconds. And this is 18 count Aida that I hand dyed myself in a Come Dye With Me video. So there should be a link in the description to how I dyed this. Okay, so that was project 2. Project 3 is the wish list project, and like I said, this isn't specifically designed to be in the fair, but by the time I finish this, I will have worked on this for 3-ish years. I mean, I started it in 2024, so this is my 3rd year working on it in 2026. So, like, I don't know. By the time I finish this, I'll be like 7, 8 years into it, and like not cool. I mean, well, not cool. I mean, the not cool part is that it's going to take me so long to finish it, but by the time I'm finished with it, I'm going to be super duper proud of it, and I'm going to want to show it off. So I will eventually put my wish list projects into the fair. It's just they're not specifically designed for it. I will just get there when I get there. So this is Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Amy Brown. And this is called Faerie Risqué, and this is the no background version. And I am doing my own blue conversion. This is the first time that I've attempted a blue or attempted a conversion, and so far it is working out for me. I do like how it's turning out. Okay, so here is my progress. So the last time that you saw it, I had just started up in this row, and I probably had this first 100 by 100 block done, and there's just a little bit over here. So I finished out this row all the way over, and she just looks so good. The detail on her is amazing. Like this right here is like a hoop in her cartilage that I didn't even notice was there until after I had finished like the whole thing and I was looking at the overall picture. I was like, oh, that's a hoop earring. I didn't even notice that. Like, I mean, I noticed the color as I was stitching, but I was like, okay, that's weird. But, you know, with heaven and earth designs, you kind of have to trust the process because you're using so many colors. But the last time I worked on it, well, yesterday, I got the start of these little curly cues that hang off of her hat. Her hair, like I think this block is where the hat starts. So I'm really excited to be getting into her top hat. I love it. I love how it's turning out. And I can't wait until she's finally finished because she is gorgeous. She's gorgeous. All right, so this one I do have stats on because I have it in Pattern Keeper. So for the week of April 13th through April 19th, I got to work on this 5 hours, 54 minutes, and 8 seconds, and it's brought my total time on this to 166 hours, 26 minutes, and 14 seconds. Like, that's so long. That's so many hours. All right, so this one for last week, I got to put in 772 total stitches that completed this row. So as of Friday, which this does have Monday and Tuesday stitching on it, but as of Friday, I was at 18,017 stitches completed out of 74,797. I'm at 24.09%. Seems so close to 25%. Like, I was looking at where the middle was, and the middle was like right around here. So I did, or maybe it was just a little bit high. It was like right in the whitish area of the armband. So I did go all the way to the page edge, and then I did come down to finish the page. So by the time this last page over here is finished, I will have over 25% because I stitched more than 25%. But I'm really excited. I'm really excited to be getting to her top hat, and I can't wait to finish this page so that I can finally get to her face. That's going to be so satisfying to complete her face. I cannot wait. Okay, and then project 4, my wish list project. Oh, that is 22 count Hardinger that I hand dyed myself, but that was back before I started doing the Come Dye With Me videos, so I don't have a video for that. Okay, and then project 4. Project 4 is this Dimensions kit. It's called the Dolphins Domain. And I am using the kit fabric, the kit floss, like everything that came in it. I did not do a special dye job. I'm just using it as it is. And let me see. The last time you saw it, I was still sort of filling in, like I had done some of this. I hadn't started this other dolphin guy. So I'm just sort of filling in as I'm bringing it up. I'm about halfway there for this section before this quarter is complete, so I'm about halfway done. I love how it's turning out. It's very oceany. Very oceany. So the majority of these stitches are half cross stitches, and because it's a dimensions kit, Sometimes there are 2 strands, sometimes there are 3 strands, sometimes there are 4 strands, and surprise, surprise, sometimes there are 5 strands. Like the color that I'm currently on has 2 strands of one color and 3 strands of the other color. So, yeah, lots of blends in this. Lots of different thicknesses of the threads to give it a more textured look. Okay, so this one for the week of April 13th through April 19th, I got to put in 2 hours, 48 minutes, and 20 seconds. And it has brought my total project time to 12 hours, 34 minutes, and 12 seconds. All right. Okay, so let me see if I can get this all slide back in my project bag. Just really quickly. Sometimes it doesn't want to go back in, which is really the universe just saying, okay, sit down and stitch it instead of playing with it. Okay, so that wraps up my 4 main cross-stitch projects. I am now going to start talking about the temperature projects. I did not create this game. I'm not sure who created it, but I heard Jen the Caffeinated Crafter and Sarah the Stitching Mommy and several others, but mainly I heard it from those 2 before I started doing it myself. And the idea is the daily temperature, either the high or the low, will dictate what project you are going to work on for that day. Now, myself, I am limiting my time working on this project to 30 minutes. Sometimes a little bit more, but no less than 30 minutes. And to be fair, like 30 minutes is, I can almost, when it's a cross stitch project, I can almost get 3 full strands stitched in those 30 minutes to give you an idea about how much progress I get to work on. But the idea is that I'm at least devoting 30 minutes to a project that I have started in the past. I'm just trying to get them done. And I can devote 30 minutes to a project that could change every day. So the high temperature or the low temperature is going to determine what you stitch. And there are some people that will look at the projected temperature for the week. I look at it every morning and take a screenshot of what the projected daily high temperature is supposed to be. So all of my temperature ranges will be in Fahrenheit, but let's go. So I filmed last week on the 15th, and on the 15th, I did not get to work on any of my temperature projects, which is pretty usual for the days that I film this, because I'm filming this project, I have my red light therapy sessions, and then it's also my day to, there are 2 birds on the neighbor's roof that are fighting with each other. So, anyway. Sorry about that. I get distracted because the window and the movement it distracts me. Look, a squirrel. Yeah, that's me. So, I did not do any temperature stitching on the 15th because, like I said, that day is really busy for me because I've filming this, going to my red light therapy appointment, running any errands, editing my video. It's just there's no time for me to work on any of my projects, and that's okay. I can deal with that. So on the 16th of April, it was 70 degrees here, Fahrenheit, and the project for the 0 is my Doctor Who diamond painting. Now, funny enough, on the 17th, it was 40 degrees. So it went from 70 degrees to 40 degrees in one day. And we also got a little bit of snow off and on all day Friday. But that's kind of besides the point. Both of those days, the project ended in a 0. So I got to work on my Doctor Who diamond painting 2 days last week. So this is what it's supposed to look like. And here is where I have previously been. Like, you've all seen this part many, many times. So I've been working down in this part, and as you can see, I'm almost done with this section, which will be awesome. Then once I'm done with this section, I will tear off this stuff protecting the sticky, and then I'll do the next section. So I am plugging along. I am working on things. It's just very slow going because I'm only working on it for about 30 minutes. Okay, and then I did not work on the temperature projects over the weekend. I usually don't have time to do that. So then to Monday on the 20th, it was 74 degrees Fahrenheit here, and that is the French beaded flowers. I am working out of this book. All of these flowers are very simple and considered like beginner flowers. I have many, many different French beaded flower books, but this is where I'm starting out because these are smaller and a lot of the flowers are like miniature scale, kind of like the bearded irises are like miniature, and like these tea roses are small. The marigolds and stuff are probably a little bit smaller than what they'd be in real life, but they're pretty close to size. But anyway, the project that I have been working on is in the section called the Learning Flowers, and I've been working on a thistle. This is how the directions are written out. So that's fun. But this is more or less what it's going to look like when I'm finally finished. So now I organized things a little bit better since the last time you saw it. Okay, so I do have 3 fully finished thistle flowers, 3 of them. And it's been that way for a while, but I do have 3 fully finished thistle flowers. Then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 flowers that the top parts and the initial calyx are done. And I've got 1 flower that I have not started working on the green part. And again, that's been that way for a while. So the last time I got to work on this was a couple weeks ago. And when I was working on it, I started working on 4 because that's how many I need to finish my bouquet of thistles. It calls for 17 flowers. So I needed 4 more. And so the last time that I worked on it, I got the inner pieces done. So this time when I worked on it, I got the outer pink pieces and I started wrapping the stem for this one. And actually, this one can go in this bag, or I need to bring that one over there. There. Okay. So I have 2 more that I need to finish the outer row of pink flowers. I need to wrap this one. I need to start working on the calyxes on these 2. But I'm very close to having my bouquet ready to be made. I need to get floral clay, and I'm going to need to get like a little pot. And what I do is I shove the floral clay down into the pot, and then I will stick my finished flowers all in through the clay in various ways and poses and such. And then I will take some floral moss and put that over the clay so that it looks like it's a potted flower. So I'm getting closer to finally finishing one of my beaded flowers. And after I finish this one, I'll just move on to the next one in the book and keep on going until I finish this book. And then once I finish this book, I'll move on to one of the other books. And the idea is to just make a whole bunch of floral flower arrangements out of beads. So they don't have to be watered. They'll never die. Like they're the perfect house plant. Okay, so then the last project that I got to work on was yesterday. Uh-oh. Okay, there it is. I bumped the mouse and then everything went away and I was like, oh no. Okay, so the last one that I got to work on was yesterday, and it was projected to be 77 degrees yesterday and ended up being so much hotter, and my husband turned on the air conditioner, but that's not going to last because it's supposed to snow off and on all next week. Isn't that fun? Do you hear my sarcasm? Okay, so the 77 degrees is the purple baby blanket. This is the Bashful Teddy blanket, which is a fillet crochet. This is from Mary Maxim, and it was an entire kit that I purchased. So it came with the yarn and the instructions and this nice little carry bag. The only thing it didn't come with was like the hook, and that's fine because I'm not using the hook that it calls for in the directions. My gauge is, I guess that I stitch like really tight, and so when I crocheted up the gauge swatch, it ended up being like 2 inches smaller than it should have been, so I had to go up a few sizes in my rows. So I am now on row 7. Wait, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, I'm on row 8. I am on row 8, so I'm still at the bottom. This is where the teddy bear's feet are. I know it's floppy, so it's hard to show it off. But I finished the row that I was starting on last time, so I finished that whole row and then got halfway, almost complete with the row that I'm currently on. So almost to row 9. But it's coming along. Let me show you. This is what it's supposed to look like. Yeah, so it's coming along. I'm excited. I can't wait for this to be done. Which I say that, but like I started this project for the temperature stitching. There's actually something else before in that slot, and I finished working on that particular project. So like this was a new project. And I was like, I have this yarn, I have this kit. I don't have any time to work on it, so let me work on it as a temperature project. And so far, I feel like the 7-degree is the one that is being projected the most, if that makes any sense. I hope that made sense coming out right now. All right, so that is my temperature projects. I only got to work on it 4 days since the last time that I filmed, but that's okay. So the last thing that I want to mention is this week on Friday is the 24th. And back in February, I started a birthday stitch on my birthday, February 24th. And I decided to every month on the 24th, I would only work on my birthday project just so that I can get stitches in. Like I don't have time to add it into my normal rotation, at least not right now. I don't have time to work on it outside of when I'm making time. So I've decided that every month on the 24th, which aligns with my birthday, I will work on this project. So I will be picking it up this week, and I just wanted to show you where I would be picking it up. Just give me just a second. It is from Heaven and Earth Designs. This was the Valentine's 2024 freebie, and it's called Venus. And I am doing this by color completion because I found that I really do enjoy color completion as long as the first color that I'm stitching is not white. And I had to learn that the hard way. So when I pick it up this week, here is where I will be starting out at. So from here, because this is where the page, the top of the page starts. From here to here is actually 2 pages. So I'm doing 2 pages and I'm going row by row. This is like 25 count easy grid. So I'm just focusing on the 10 by 10 grid and just working it down and then jumping back up and doing the same thing. So here, yeah, I'm excited to get more color on this because I can definitely see the outlines of what's going to be coming in. So color completion is very fun to watch come to life when the color is any color besides white. I would even take 310 over white on white. Now, if I were stitching on a black canvas, I would not enjoy doing 310 on the black canvas as the first color, but stitching white on white is my mortal enemy. And so, yeah, when I do color completion, I now make sure what the first color going onto the project is. And if it's white, I say, no, we are not doing color completion. All right, so that is it. That is all of my projects. And wow, this video ended up being longer than I was anticipating. So I have to leave in about 15 minutes for my red light therapy session. So I will not get very much editing done before I have to go. I will be probably stopping at Michael's to at least get a quote on how much it's going to cost for framing my Fair piece. The Fair pieces have to be framed, and the thing on the back has to either be a wire or a hook, but you can't use a sawtooth hook. So that was my first Fair piece for 2024. And I ended up switching like all the colors, everything to cheaper stuff because that was more than $150 to get that one framed. And then this one, last year's Fair piece, was also like it was close to 200 to get this one framed. And that one, while I didn't change my mind on the colors or things, like I didn't try to cheapen it because I was like, oh, this is my Teresa Wentzler. I was like, I want this to look gorgeous, so I don't want to skimp on the the matting and the stuff. This year's Fair piece, the one that I'm going to get the quote on, I'm not going to be doing a matting with it. I think that I'm going to want them to stretch it with about an inch on each side and then just do a frame. And I have an idea on which frame that I want. I just hope that it's in stock. But on this piece, it's got this sort of edging, and there is a frame that the design on it sort of makes me think of those lines. And so that is the frame that I'm thinking of, but once I get there, we'll see how it goes. But anyway, that is what is going on. I need to start getting that Fair piece framed for this year. I need to call the county fair and see what's going on with their website. Yeah. So, and I need for them to tell me which category I should put it in, whether it should be under the cross stitch category, which there's two cross stitch categories for the county fair. It is fabric that is 14 to 18 count. That's one category, or it is fabric that is 22 and up. That's the other category for cross stitch. So they're not as in depth on the categories as what the state fair is. And the other possible category is needlepoint. And like, I don't quite know where Blackwork falls because it could go either way. Some people consider it needlepoint, some people consider it cross stitch. For the hobby as a whole, my county fair has that division as embroidery. So cross stitch, needlepoint, plastic canvas, those are all under the same division. Those are all under the same division, and they're just in different subcategories. So it's all under the embroidery division, which sounds weird. But then it's by size and type, because plastic canvas has its own category, the needlepoint has its own category, the cross stitch has two categories, and then like I think there's an applique. So the state fair is a little bit more in depth, and I haven't signed up for that one yet, but that one is a little bit more niche. And like I said, last year there was a Blackwork category, and I expect it to be there. I expect there to be another Blackwork category for the state fair. So it does get a little confusing trying to balance the two fairs and remembering, oh, this one's silly about this and this one is silly about that. But they have to be framed. No sawtooth hanger on the back for both fairs. Like that's consistent with both fairs. Oh, the image size has to be under 36 inches. And knowing that, I am rethinking my sampler piece, the Dutch Beauty sampler, because that one's huge. Huge. I'm pretty sure it's over 36 inches. I mean, it might not be, because that was a yard of fabric, and a yard is 36 inches. So I don't know. It's going to be really close on that sampler piece. So I'm still going to work on it and I'm still going to finish it, but I just know in the back of my mind that it might be too big. But we'll see. We will see. Okay. So I keep dragging this video out and I didn't mean to, but that's what's going on. So I will see everyone next week, and next week when I film, I will have work on that birthday start. So I'm excited to see where I get with working on that one for all day long. Tomorrow, my husband has a doctor's appointment that I have to take him to and hang out, so I might get a lot of work done on my project 4. We'll see. So that is it. That is my weekly update. I will see everyone next week. Have fun stitching. And I totally forgot to show you, but I did say that on Wednesdays I'm going to try to work on wire wrapping, which I didn't finish a piece, but I started a piece. And so this is the stone that I'm going to be working on. And I am following a tutorial that I purchased off Etsy, and there will be a link in the description to it. But right now I'm just working on the weaving around the edge. And so this is sort of the middle. So it's going to come up and it's going to come up on both sides, but I've only got like half, well, a little over half. But yeah, I got to work on it probably an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Let me grab. This one that I wrapped is the same pattern that I'm following for this one. So it's going to look like this one. This one's a little crooked because I don't know how I keep making things crooked, but I'm hoping that with this one being smaller, it'll be a little bit more easier to manage on those edges and whatnot. But yeah, so that's the wire wrapping piece that I started working on last week, and hopefully this week I'll have a little bit of time to work on it today. So now, for real, this time, it's bye for now.